Bruce Wayne.
You really could be doing more for this city. Your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything.
The Riddler's latest. It's all about the Waynes.
Who are you under there?
Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. Bruce Wayne.
What's going on, everybody? I am Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blerd, and welcome to my non-spoiler review of Matt Reeves' The Batman. Whew. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've been sitting on this for a few days. Obviously, y'all know what embargoes are. I haven't been able to talk about this, but I have so much to speak on. I'm going to keep this non-spoiler review relatively short just because I want to save most of my thoughts for the spoiler review. I'm going to be doing two different spoiler reviews. One over at Blerds N The Hood. If you're not familiar with myself and Mr. J. Washington, please be sure to do that. YouTube.com/Blerds N The Hood. BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Definitely come and check that out. We're going to do that later in the week. And then, of course, if you're familiar with me with the Schmodown, you know that I work with Kristian Harloff over at The Big Thing. We will be having our spoiler review of The Batman next Monday, a week from now, over on the Kristian Harloff channel, so don't miss that as well. But let's get into it, man. Let's talk about The Batman. Again, this is going to be a non-spoiler. I will only be talking about stuff that you have seen, like you saw a little bit of the trailer at the start of this. I'm just going to be talking about some of the acting, my thoughts on the film, but I will not get into plot points. I'm going to stay away from that. I don't want to ruin that for you. I want you to experience this. So just out of the gate, man, I've got to give Matt Reeves so much credit for painting a beautiful world. Honestly, this is a dark, gritty Gotham. There's a lack of hope. The story is very devoid of hope, with the exception of the Batman. That seems to be the only thing that is really kind of keeping this city together, which is pretty, reminiscent of the Gothams that we're used to, but I don't think that we've ever been this downtrodden. I think the only spot maybe is kind of when you're dealing with the nuke in Rises, or the fairies, the fairies trying to escape Gotham in The Dark Knight, where there's that brief moment of, oh my God, everything's coming apart. That kind of feels like this is happening throughout the film, which is a beautiful thing to see, because that is what Gotham is. People that are strong, but they're dealing with a lot of crap, right? But I think what really gets set right away tone-wise, this is a noir film. Honestly, you jump right into it. You feel like you're dealing with a private eye trying to solve this crazy caper. Very reminiscent, honestly. A lot of people have been saying they felt like the designs they've seen for the Riddler feel very much like the Zodiac Killer or something like that. Very reminiscent of Seven for me. Seven is one of my all-time favorite films, and I definitely caught that vibe immediately. Like, we're on the case, we got to solve this. Now, all that being said, the mystery is absolutely incredible. You're really trying to figure it out. Obviously, we know he's dealing with the Riddler, but as you're trying to figure out how the pieces connect, as you are watching these crimes happen, these killings, you're really trying to figure out if Batman can get there, if you can get there before we figure out what's happening. And you're seeing incredible character work. Colin Farrell completely lost him as the Penguin. I could not find Colin Farrell anywhere in that. And I say that in the sense that not from his acting chops. Obviously, he's killing it. I didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize his voice. I didn't recognize his mannerisms. Clearly, they did a great job with the makeup because I couldn't see him, and maybe that's just me. But phenomenal job. Paul Dano, holy crap. Honest to God, throughout the film is absolutely phenomenal. Like, blew my mind. Andy Serkis is incredible. Zoe Kravitz, every film I watch her in, she just gets better and better and better and better. And this is no different. She really gives Selena a lot of life. She really makes Selena feel very human. There isn't this weird kind of ethereal thing that happens sometimes with superheroes where they're like, you know, they're too much for whatever. Like, yeah, she has her lines like, oh, I've got 9 lives, honey, and all that stuff, but she genuinely feels real, and her motivations feel very real as well. But Robert Pattinson, let's talk about it. I honestly thought he did an incredible job. I think that this, you know, I was concerned going into it because the only thing I was familiar with a couple years ago was just him in Twilight, and people put me on Game to Good Time and a bunch of other films that he's done, and I'm a big Robert Pattinson fan at this point. He really does it justice. Not quite my favorite Bruce Wayne. It feels with Bruce a little bit of this kind of depression thing going, but we are also, this isn't really a spoiler because you find this out very quickly. People have been speculating if this is year 1 Batman. This is year 2. So he's still young in the game. And that is kind of the vibe I'm getting, and I like what he did with that. But I think he does an excellent job as Batman. Not quite my favorite Bruce Wayne for me. And you'll get a chance to see that and understand that as you kind of go into it. So here's really my only minor little gripe with the film, and it's very, very minor. Time. There are points in time where I felt like the film was dragging a little bit. There's some stuff kind of around Act 1, Act 2, and then right near the end where I'm like, okay, you could have trimmed that, you could have cut that a little bit. I am glad that we got to see Matt Reeves' full vision. I think that he really put his stamp on it. It's the same thing that we've known from him, the Planet of the Apes series, etc., that he is really, really good at putting his signature on it, and I get that vibe going through, the intensity, the, you know, everything that's going on in between the characters. That's the big thing that I feel like Matt Reeves does better than a lot of other folks, is that intertwining of characters. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. But like, for example, near the end of the film, there is a particular sequence. Again, I'm not going to get super deep into it because I want you to see it for yourself. But there's a sequence where we kind of linger on 2 characters, and we didn't need to. Like, you could have got it done in, I would say, like 30 seconds, but the shot felt like it was running and the cuts for it felt like it was running like almost a full 2 minutes. It'd be little things like that where it's like, I get it, I got the emotional connection pretty quickly, and we're hanging on to something a little longer than we needed to. There would be times where we're trying to focus on the A story and we get caught up in the B and the C story a little bit longer than we needed to, where it was still important to the film. It still worked for what we're doing, but you can trim little things here and there, and you can bring that runtime from almost 3 hours down to 240, 230, and have a tight, for 230, a tight, incredible, like, just kind of, you know, seeing how this all plays out, including the fact that there is a scene that honestly messes up the tempo at the end that would have served better if they had decided to put it, you know, as a mid-credit scene, as an end-credit scene, and you'll understand that as well. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but you'll kind of see, you'll understand what I'm saying, where you're like, either this is the end of the film and then it's not, or as you get past it, you go, why didn't we see that later? That would have made more sense after we had wrapped everything else, but I digress. Either way, I honestly, seeing this film, this definitely will crack my top 5 Batman films. There's no doubt about that. If anything, I would honestly say for me, only The Dark Knight and Begins currently are better than it. It has eclipsed every other Batman film for me. If you've been watching The Big Thing, these rewatches, we've been watching that. We've been watching them all, and you hear my ranking on that. Upon a second review, I don't think it'll ever beat The Dark Knight for me. I think that there is a place for me where that just kind of lives, and I've talked about how in the number of ways I feel like that is a near perfect film. But it might unseat Begins. I think once I watch it again, the mystery that is woven there, the performances, it is just a phenomenal film. And I'm very excited for y'all to be able to share and enjoy that, man. So once again, you check it out. It comes out this week. The Batman, Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell. You know this is a star-studded cast, man, and they all do an incredible job. Oh my God. John Turturro plays Carmine Falcone. Dude, again, you want to talk about somebody who almost kind of got lost in it. I recognized him right away, but the thug, the mafioso that he became in this film is incredible. And that's the other cool part about this with Batman. Obviously, you know, just from it, you know you got the Penguin, you know you got the Riddler, and you're throwing in Falcone. So you're sitting here off of 3 villains. You can count Catwoman as one. In the sense that, you know, she is more of an anti-hero, so sometimes she's helping Batman, sometimes she's not, and you'll get to see how that plays out in this particular film. Obviously, you've seen the trailers, the Bat and the Cat, so clearly there's something going on with that, but honestly, John Turturro as well. That is the one thing. Jeffrey Wright, oh my God, how did I forget Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon? You have got to give Matt Reeves so much credit for working with his team to get the right people into these roles. And pulling the absolute best out of his actors. That's what's so cool, is watching a director pull everything out of his actors. So yeah, once again, if I had to give it a rating out of 5, I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. For sure. But I'm definitely excited to watch it a second time with all of you, to hit the theaters and go and watch this thing blow up at the box office. And I just can't wait to see what y'all think. So let me know, please, down in my comments. Let me know what you think, what you're most excited about to see in the Batman. And then come on back after you've seen it and let me know your thoughts. If you agree with some of the stuff that I said, if you disagree, stuff like that. And once again, on Blerds in the Hood, youtube.com/Blerds in the Hood. Later this week, probably I would say maybe Friday or Saturday, because we want to give people some time to see the film first. We will put out our spoiler review, and of course, the big thing with Kristian Harloff next Monday. That discussion between myself, Kristian Harloff, and Jandreau will be going down. So once again, thank you so much. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this page, hit the notification bells. I do reviews, I do comedy, I do all sorts of stuff on here, so you don't want to miss that. And you can find me anywhere the Swaggy Blerds are sold: Twitter, Instagram, obviously here on YouTube. I'm on Twitch 3 days a week, typically, sometimes 4, just depends. So definitely come through and hang with me, play some games, talk it up. We do a thing called Motivation Mondays, which I'm about to go do in just a moment. So either way, y'all, enjoy the Batman. We'll see you next time.